Well, it's a wonderful night, guys. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
Great.
Welcome to Down and Down, a rabbit hole podcast.
Hmm.
Um, and not like Alice Rabbit Hole podcast, because we're
No,
not talking about Wonderland. We're talking about something totally different tonight.
we
But
are
let me
talking
introduce
about
you.
a wonderful land.
Yes,
Are you feeling kind of
yes,
wicked?
the outer zone. Um,
Ah,
that
see what you did there.
was yep. People probably have no idea what I mean, but all right. First, my name's Buck. I'm a brown rabbit, and I'm joined by my co-host Jack.
Jack,
And Jack, you're a what now?
I'm a jackalope,
A yellow
a,
one.
a yellern.
His race of jackalope is yellow, and
Yeah,
we also have another guest who's been here before, and she sleeps with Jack. So what?
hmm,
What's
we do.
they share a hole in the burrow.
Hmm.
I don't
No
like the way
hole.
that sounded.
Mm.
But all right. Hey Jill, how are you doing?
Howdy.
And we're all talking animals just like in Oz.
They do have an amount of kids that is kind of like how rabbits are.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
not all of them are naturally their kids, though.
We just taking strays.
Sounds like we kidnap them.
Anyways,
We don't.
I know,
what
right?
I feel like every time we do this freaking show, the intro
It just
gets more and more chaotic. So we're going to talk
Speaking
about,
of rabbit holes,
but not Alice in Wonderland. Just want to make sure that that's clear. It's not Alice in Wonderland.
it's not her
Um,
hole.
it's a different wonderful land. We're going to
Oh.
talk about
Oh my gosh.
Jack. You're a fan of.
That's me.
Hey, shut up and let me say what I gotta say. You're a fan of L. Frank Baum, Elphaba.
Nope, them's different. Yes.
You've actually read The Wizard of Oz,
Yes.
and we are going to talk about that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not just that. We're going to talk about from wonderful to wicked. Let's get into this rabbit hole.
Down and down the rabbit hole. Just how deep does it go? Where it stops, nobody knows. So let's go down the rabbit hole. Down and down the rabbit hole. Down and down the rabbit hole.
Down.
That was everywhere. All right.
Okay.
All right. So, Wizard of Oz
Yeah.
and Wicked. Like,
Yeah.
Wicked, super huge right now. I mean, we're a couple months after Wicked for Good came out, and I don't know. Oscars are in a few weeks, so like, isn't that up for a nomination? Isn't For Good up for some nominations?
I'm sure it is. Because it was huge and everybody it was highly anticipated.
Yeah. Now, there are a lot of differences between the original Wizard of Oz novel and Wicked.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of what's funny is we have just done our bad adaptations episodes, and there's even from the movie, from the Wizard of Oz movie that everybody knows, there's a lot of differences from the book.
Mhm.
So even though it's a very successful movie and it's a beloved movie and everybody loves it, it's in a lot of ways it's kind of a bad adaptation from that.
Right. Because it's really just
and-
fan fiction.
No. I'm talking about the movie.
You're talking about the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Scratch. we'll save my little comment for a later statement.
The
Yeah.
1939 movie, it has it's even though it's a very successful movie and very beloved, it is still
And one of the first like color movies.
yeah, it's still kind of a bad adaptation from the original work. And then you get to Wicked, and he writes, yeah, what he writes is just fan fiction. It gets turned into the musical, and then the musical becomes the movie, and that's kind of a bad adaptation of what he wrote.
Yeah. And it's fan fiction of not the book, but the movie, correct?
Yeah, so
The original
well,
movie.
that's where it gets kind of wishy washy because
Really.
he couldn't really base it off of the film because of rights and all of that. Because MGM or whoever still owns their rights, he couldn't really use like the ruby slippers and all of that. Even still, in the new movie, her gingham dress couldn't be the exact same gingham dress. It couldn't be modeled the same way. So,
Talking about Dorothy's?
yes. So there's a lot of stipulations that he could do. So he's claiming that he based it on the books, but he didn't because he didn't.
Green is a very prevalent color in Wicked.
Yeah, which
Not in the book though.
it is not at all.
Well, Emerald City, I guess, but
Yeah,
Emerald City
well,
is in the book, right?
It is. It is.
Okay.
Well, yes. Yeah, it is. But it's not Emerald. It's an Emerald City, but they wear these goggles that are green, and that's why everybody thinks it's Emerald.
So it's not even really green.
It's a trick. It's literally one of his mini tricks, one of the wizard's mini tricks.
That's one thing I did not know about the book.
So if you watch the musical, and I know you have, right?
Yes.
You've seen it. When they go to the city, they wear the goggles, but they don't in the movie.
I don't think I realized that in the musical.
And it is a part of, in fact, in the book, so that nobody will take them off, they lock them on with a key. You can't take the goggles off when you're in the Emerald City. And in
Oz or Wicked?
Oz, in the Wizard
Okay.
of Oz. In the
Okay,
actual
just for my sanity, I'm gonna say this. So we had the original Wizard of Oz book series. Then we
Correct.
had the original Wizard of Oz movie, which was a bad
1939.
adaptation of the book.
Mhm.
Then we had the original Wicked book,
in the 90s.
and then we had Wicked the musical, which led to Wicked the movie,
play.
which is very
The movie, yeah.
very similar to the stage production.
Yeah.
But the stage production of Wicked is very different than the book Wicked, correct?
Yeah, the book Wicked's very dark.
Yeah.
You're like,
it's much
she
more
still
family friendly.
she's still like allergic to water, right? In the book.
Yes. And Jill read, well, she didn't read all the book.
I read half of Wicked.
Yeah. And I read most of it. There was when I read, I don't like to read a lot of sex, but when I read this, I especially didn't
to read a lot of sex. Sorry.
because I was a lot younger.
Right.
I really didn't want to read a lot of it.
We were in
I wasn't-
college whenever you read it, weren't we?
Yeah. So I wasn't wanting to read.
And it's not just like sex, like spicy, what we would call like a spicy book.
It's
now.
not.
It's like bestiality kind of.
Yeah.
That's
It
gross.
touches on stuff.
And-
Wasn't there
one
like
of
a bathe in olive oil scene or something like
That's
that?
later on. Yeah. He bathes her in olive oil because she's allergic to
Water.
water.
Can you just
But-
imagine what Elphaba smelled like if olive oil is the way that she cleaned herself?
It wasn't necessarily just olive oil. It talks about like fragrant oils, like she used like kind of
Okay.
perfumed oils too.
Yeah.
Okay, that helps a little bit in the
Yeah.
image that I had in my head because I'm like, man, she must have smelled really bad.
There was also earlier in the book, there's a whole bestiality
Orgy.
orgy. Yeah, I was trying to think of a nicer way to put that.
Yeah,
I
it's
bet.
a little
It's
much.
gross.
Yeah,
Fun
really gross.
group activity.
yeah.
Which, fun fact, it gets left out of the musical and the movie.
Yeah.
I
I wonder why. um, but okay, so let's kind of start to do like some breakdown stuff. Let's start with the book The Wizard of Oz to the movie
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Jack, tell me some like really huge differences there.
Well, let's look at some of the characters. Let's talk about the witch. Well, her name is the Wicked Witch of the West. She's not named. She's just given that
Right.
title, and that's all she's ever called because she's only in like one chapter
Yeah.
of the whole book. Now, she is the closest thing to, she's the biggest antagonist, I'll say. She's the
Right.
closest thing to a villain, but she's just kind of the biggest antagonist in
Other
the book.
than the wizard.
Correct. But
Because
he's not even
really the wizard
considered-
is like the
He's not even
antagonist.
considered a real antagonist so much as just they call him a humbug.
Mm.
He's just kind of like a bad guy, or he's not a good guy. However, he comes back in later books and makes friends with everybody, and he's fine. But yeah,
So the general progression of the story in the Wizard of Oz book is more like an adventure quest type book, right?
It's very D&D in that you go on these different journeys. This whole thing is a journey, and they go to these different lands, and each one they have kind of like a little something they have to overcome or do.
Right. And there's like isn't there moments for each character? Like doesn't like Tin Man, he has kind of like a heroic moment in the journey.
Yeah.
Scarecrow, heroic moment in the journey.
Yep. Yeah,
Like-
it's very much that way. So in the book, to kind of clarify,
Oh, by the way, spoilers. That's something that we got to start doing. Hey, spoilers for these stories, guys.
I mean,
If you have not seen The Wizard of Oz,
You're
I was gonna
right.
say, for
You deserve her to be spoiled.
Wicked, I understand that, but
yo, Wicked baby.
but the Wizard of Oz in the book, the book came out in I think 1900, and the movie came out in 1939. At this point, you behind the eight ball.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna get around to it.
but Wicked, I can understand. Yeah, we'll say spoilers on those.
And technically, Wicked, you shouldn't like the theatrical production's been around for like 2 decades. So,
Yeah.
yep. I mean, I know like theater is not necessarily the most accessible art form. Like you can't just go to New York, but a lot of people. I mean, we've all seen Wicked. Like we saw it at the convention center conference, wherever that was closest to our
Local,
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, it's one of my favorite musicals because I like the music in it.
The music is really good.
So, and it's a fun story, even though a lot of it doesn't make sense.
There's a lot of it that doesn't make sense. Just a forewarning, when it comes to Wicked, I love the music. And I listened to the music for 20 years before I actually got to experience the actual story. And I saw it and I was like, this is not as good as I had built it up in my head for 2 decades. Jack is
And I
critical
think-
of me for this.
Yeah,
He says I do this with a lot of things, but
you do. But
Well,
I
what
think-
exactly did you think they were going to? Did you not like the story of it, or
I didn't like the story of it. I
Okay.
think the story is kind of.
a
We'll
lot of
get
it
there.
plays
We'll
out
get
in
there
the
when we're
music,
breaking down.
It could have been done better, and I agree with you, but it's still one of my favorites because of the music and because I am such a big fan of The Wizard of Oz in the world and just playing in that sandbox. However, it does bother me that there's so many differences that it doesn't even make any sense, and it's not the same story
Yeah.
anymore.
So But before we let's wait on Wicked a little bit, and then let's still talk about the Wizard of Oz. So
Okay.
you're talking about the witch being a huge thing. Didn't have the name.
Correct. So
What,
she has does not have green skin, or at least it never says that she has green skin.
but there are illustrations of her, right?
There are illustrations of her. The I have that right here. The original illustrations were
Kind of looks like a big one-eyed baby, doesn't she?
no, she's definitely an old lady. Definitely an old
Well,
lady.
no, like a ghastly baby, like she kind of has this like little girl aesthetic to her, doesn't she?
She's got
Like the way
three
she's dressed and stuff like that.
ponytails, and she's kind of garishly dressed, yes, but she's got and she wears she has like three braided ponytails. And that
And
may be
she
what
has
you're
an eye patch, right?
W.W. Denslow is the author. Or, I mean, not the author, excuse me,
Illustrator.
the illustrator. And that's kind of how people knew her. He also drew her not with a broom, but with an umbrella. She had an
Interesting.
umbrella,
Ooh.
not a broom. She at times also wore a very, very tall, pointed witch's hat, but she dressed in it's like a reddish orange color. So it could be orange, it could be red. Like these yellowy shoes and this kind of black skirt that kind of looked like she stole it from Miss Frizzle. And but yeah, she had a patch over her eye because even in the book, it is specifically stated that she only has one eye, and it's as powerful as a telescope, so she can see very far off with her one eye.
And it's kind of like a bulging eye, right?
In the yeah,
Illustration.
in the illustration, it is, yeah.
So, so no green
No
whatsoever.
green
No
isn't mentioned.
flight. Does she fly with the umbrella?
I don't know that it ever says that in the book. I can't remember. It's been, I see, I read this. It's been 10 years since I read this one. But I remember in the images her carrying the umbrella. I don't specifically remember her flying with it.
Okay.
In fact, most of her magic is actually is more about what she controls, the beasts that she controls.
Which are they the monkeys in the book?
They're not the flying monkeys. She does control them, but not naturally. So she has a pack of wolves. She has a pack of killer bees. She has some crows. And that's kind of where each one of them have a heroic moment in the
I know the Tin Man kills the wolves.
wolves with his axe. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty dark. It has some dark moments for it to be what we think
Kids.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a different time, I guess. But each one of them has something that they kind of face like that. I think the scarecrow is against the crows and all this kind of stuff. The only reason that she can control these flying monkeys is because she has a golden cap. Now, if you look in the 1939 movie, there's a brief moment where she's holding something in her hand. It is a gold cap, and she like throws it or something. When she's talking to the lead monkey. The lead monkey is named Miko, even though it's Miko and Nico, but it's never stated in the movie. But that's how he's billed at the end. But
Okay.
she's holding the hat and she's fussing at him and she throws it. All right. It's a pretty good depiction because it kind of copies the illustrations very well. It's this ugly gold hat with these little stones around it, like the ear flaps or whatever, the flap that goes around the back. And that is a cursed hat or a has a spell on it, or they do. They have to obey whoever has that hat, but they only get 3
Yeah,
uses
3
of
times.
it.
Yeah.
And this was her
Okay.
third use. We don't know what the other 2 were, but this was her third use of it. We know that much. And there was a curse on them that was put on them because they played a prank on like a prince or something like that. So and all of these adaptations and everything you ever see, that she's always got the flying monkeys that like serve her. They don't serve her. They serve the hat.
Right. And then they're free after that, right?
They are not. Well, they're not free. They're whoever gets the hat next.
Oh, it's a genie
Which-
situation.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so Dorothy has the hat, and she uses it to have the monkeys fly her and her traveling companions back, and she ends up giving the hat to Glinda.
Okay.
And I think Glinda sets them free. If I can't remember. I think that's how that worked.
I didn't really grow up watching the movie. I mean, I've seen the movie all the way through, but like
It's iconic.
Jill, did you grow up watching it?
Yeah,
Did you read-
I had it on VHS.
Did you read the books too?
I didn't read the books. That was one thing I did not read. And I
Yeah.
love to read, but I never
Yeah.
read them.
Now, Jack, you've read a lot of the books, right?
I've read 5 of them. I have all of L. Frank Baum's. So I think he wrote 14, and then he had some like short stories or something with him. I have all of that. And then Ruth Plumley, I think is her name. She took over after him. I haven't read any of hers.
'Cause she's the one that named the
Good
other
Witch of
good
the
witch,
North.
Tatty Poo.
Yeah. So, she named her Tatty Poo, and that's another distinction is there are 2 witches, 2 good witches. There's 2 good witches and 2 bad witches that I mentioned.
Instead of Glinda being the only good witch that you see.
And they're at no point ever mentioned any of them being sisters.
Right. And Glinda is only at the very end of the story, right? She's the one
Yes.
she's the one that tells Dorothy to click her heels or whatever, correct?
Yes. So he had originally named the Good Witch of the North. Now, in the movie, they make Glinda the Good Witch of the North, and she's the only one mentioned. Glinda's the Good Witch of the South.
Okay.
And the Good Witch of the North, he named her in like an old play, Locusta, but in the book, it doesn't say her name.
Right.
So,
But then the other woman came in and
but when
called her
Plumley
Tatty
came in,
Poo.
she named her
Gave her
Dadgum
some-
Tatty Poo. What a
What a
dumb
dumb
name.
name.
But
Oh.
but anyway, so
Maybe it wasn't dumb back then.
I think it could have had to still been.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I heard
I'm
too
going-
many Tatty Poos.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tatty Poo sounds like something a grandmother calls her 2-year-old granddaughter.
My little
Tatty
Teddy
Poo.
Poo.
Or, a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's true.
Locusta at least sounds like a real name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So there's 2 of those. Her description always reminded me of the lady who was kind of like my surrogate grandmother. She's a short, little, stout lady with white, or grayish hair, and she dressed in all white. She had a white pointed hat and a white gown. She wasn't much taller than the Munchkins.
right. Now, all right, speaking of the Munchkins singing a song, because we
Oh, yeah.
absolutely said that.
Yeah,
Is-
that's what we said.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
lollipop guilt.
Not that one, not that part. The
one where they're declaring her dead.
No, well, don't they start? They're the ones that start singing "Follow the Yellow Brick Road," aren't they? Or is that just
Follow the yellow brick road.
right?
Follow the yellow brick road.
So, is there a yellow brick road?
Yeah,
In the books.
Okay.
in the book,
Yes.
there is a yellow brick road that does lead to the Emerald City. There's not
Okay.
a red brick road.
Okay.
That was only created for the 1939 movie.
Okay. So my next question is: did the Wicked Witch pick the color of the road?
Why?
Because she does in the movie, the Wicked movie.
Oh, because that's right. Because in Wicked, oddly, I think She's from Quadling County or Quadling Country, which is yellow, I think. And so that's funny. So each one of the four areas um, is marked by a main color in the
Okay.
Wizard of Oz books. Um, so the Munchkins all wear blue. Their trees are blue. Their houses are blue. Everything's blue.
Okay.
All right. And I believe, I think maybe no, it's the Winkies. The Winkies are in yellow, but that's where she is. And
She's a
then
Winky.
she's from the Winky
So
country.
she's not a, so in Wicked, she's a Munchkin, right?
Is she a Munchkin or she just because she's not a Munchkin herself?
Well, she's from the Munchkin area, isn't she?
I don't remember. That's a good question.
Um, so anyways, are those the big, so like, are there any other super huge issues between Wizard of Oz book to movie?
Yeah, so it does say Elphaba Throp, the Wicked Witch of the West, was born in Rush Margins, a rural area of Munchkin land. But yes, in the original book, because she is the Wicked Witch, well, she's the Wicked Witch of the West, so she was in Winky country. And also,
So there's four though. Quadling is another one,
Quadling is another one.
which we don't get
And
Winkies and Quadling in Wicked.
correct. That well, they don't really talk about them. And then the Gillikin country.
Gillikin. Gillikin's Island.
Gillikin's Island.
Okay. So are there any other super large differences between Wizard of Oz book to Wizard of Oz movie?
Yeah, we've just talked about one character. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Dorothy
but
obviously was not a teenager.
she was not.
She was what, 10 years old, something like that?
Maybe even younger, but yeah,
Okay.
6, 7, somewhere to 10. Yeah. Honestly, even though I always thought Billy Burke was not attractive and way too old to be playing Glinda, Glinda is a very powerful witch in the book. But she is known for she's tall and like elegant, stately, and statuesque kind of, and has red hair,
Red
not
hair.
blonde. Mm-hmm.
Ginger erasure.
Which, if you look, I always thought she was redheaded because to me in the original movie, she
Kind of look like strawberry blonde.
Yeah, it's like a strawberry blonde, so it's more.
I see what you're
reddish.
saying. So that's funny, considering that Galinda, and so the first Glinda in stage production was Kristen Chenoweth, who is an extremely short person.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So
very.
That is a very stark difference also.
And also in the books, she's never mentioned to be wearing pink. I don't think. She's never associated with pink. In the movie, she's associated with she wears the pink dress. But in the stage play, she wears a blue dress. Like,
yes,
one of her main dresses is a blue dress.
Like her color is blue and you talking about Wicked.
Yeah. Wicked.
Yeah, blue is very much the main color she wears in a stage production, but they did pink and purple in the movie.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. Maybe look better on Ariana. I said Ariana. Ariana.
Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande. I said Ariande that time because I started latching on to what you were saying. Ariande. Anyways, so okay, I guess we can kind of move on from the original book. However, in the original book, was there a train?
No.
Okay, that needed to be clarified for later. later issues because Glinda was the villain.
Yeah, that bothers me. And that's why, okay, so that's why I did want to bring up the other good witch because they combined the two roles into one.
In
I
Wizard of
think
Oz.
mainly for Billy Burke or for
Or just simplicity sake.
maybe simplicity, but
They do that.
I think it could have been possibly because Billy Burke was probably a bigger name at the time,
Yeah.
and to give her more screen time. And so, but what it does create is that she shows up in the beginning and then doesn't tell her until the end. Well, in the real book, you have a whole other witch who's not as powerful, a good witch who is not as powerful as the wicked witches, who sends her off on this journey, although she does give her a kiss on her forehead that protects her.
Right.
And that's a thing. And then she meets Glinda toward the end, who sends her home. The
Who
shoes
is
do
a
have
very
power.
powerful, who is
You
more
do-
powerful
Yeah,
than
she's the
Wicked
most
Witch.
powerful. She's the most powerful witch.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. In fact, she is basically immortal. She's so powerful. She's very, 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 very old, but she still looks very young. And she tells her to, she basically does have to click her heels, but she doesn't have to say, there's no place like home or anything. And
But
she
the
flies
shoes are
over.
silver in the book, right?
They are silver. They're not.
So Wicked at least got that right.
Well, because they couldn't use the ruby red shoes.
Right.
And they couldn't use the same color green as Margaret Hamilton. I think that's all protected.
Interesting.
Just like the
You
dress.
can't use this hex code that we had back in.
I mean, essentially,
back
and this is how he skated by, trying to make it as much like the movie as he could, because he made the witch green. He didn't give her an eye patch, but I thought you said you based this on the book,
Right.
but she only had one
She's
eye.
definitely wearing a black dress and a pointy hat.
Yep.
And there's definitely a bubble. Does the good witch float around in a bubble in the book?
Bubble. The first time the bubble is ever mentioned is in the 1939 movie. The bubble is not in the books.
And they wrote a whole new song based around that, and for good.
However, I don't think the bubble is in the Wicked book either. It shows back up in the production, and it's a mechanical thing versus it being a magical thing.
Is it mechanical in the stage production? Because I feel like I don't remember it being mechanical.
I don't think it is.
I don't know that it's necessarily mechanical in there.
I feel like
it has power in the stage production, but it's not as much.
Right. Like that was what I was going to say. I feel like in the stage production of Wicked, Glinda isn't powerless. Like
no, she just doesn't. She's just
not real
power.
good at it.
She doesn't have natural power, so it's like studied.
Yeah. Versus the movie, she has zero power.
Right. Which is dumb.
Spoilers.
In D&D terms,
spoilers,
she'd be more like a wizard.
Yeah. Spoilers. She finally gets powers in the last scene of the movie.
Yeah.
And which does not happen in the stage production.
Did she get? What did she do?
It's heavily implied because the book awakens for her.
I paid no heed to that.
I don't think maybe you see her do something, but it is really implied that the book all of a sudden, like, because Glinda has been changed, now she's like, that's kind of what I took from it. Glinda's been changed, so now the book will allow her to use actually use magic. The Grimory, my bad. So yeah, okay, let's talk about Wicked, the stage production, for a second. Because I have seen this pretty recently, and and I guess this is kind of in the movie too. I don't understand why nobody has a problem with the song "Dancing Through Life."
What
Why?
Do you
kind?
understand why? Because it is nihilism. That is the song. Nothing matters.
Well, it's the character.
Yeah. It's okay.
Right. Right. But like nobody like breaks that down. Everybody just talks like I think people love the song because it's fun. Like, and I get that Fiero goes through a change and all of it. Like, and
No,
then,
it's foreshadowing him becoming a scarecrow.
well, nothing.
Oh,
Yeah.
spoiler.
Yeah.
Just know
Which
this whole episode's filled with spoilers.
right. Also, I think that's dumb.
It is dumb.
Too.
It is, and we can go into some of that in a minute.
But
But
yeah, you're
Bach
right.
becoming the
Very,
scare,
yeah, becoming a
the Tin Man's
brainless,
also
yeah,
stupid.
correct. And the lion also.
Yeah.
Like, so
Okay, I have less problem with, but I also have the most problem with, and
we're talking about because his reasoning
his reason is so weak.
stupid. She didn't let me be brave on my own, so I hate
Yeah.
her. That's why
Yeah.
I'm scared all the time.
And
That's what the lion sounds like.
And in the movie, he said, she took me away from the only home I knew, a cage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
And okay, so but yeah, like you're right, it is like foreshadowing of him being a brainless scarecrow. But
life is thoughtless when you're thoughtless, and
correct. But nothing matters. Oh, nothing matters that's nihilism. Like, and that's a terrible worldview. And we're just sitting here dancing to it. It's like the song that all the theater kids freaking love because it's like one of the funnest songs in the whole show.
Jill and I
Versus,
danced to it.
yeah,
Well, it was a project, but
Well,
yeah.
he says nothing matters, knowing nothing matters, meaning like he doesn't care about how much knowledge he has, which once again is like foreshadowing of the.
still nihilism though. Like,
I think you're
so-
reading way too much into what Stephen.
I think I think well maybe he didn't intend for it, but it is nihilism. I'm like, God, that's so weird that nobody thinks about that. But like, so there's that. My biggest issue with Wicked as a story is that the wizard is Elphaba's father. I think it is the dumbest thing. I think that okay, so her skin is green because of the elixir,
which is also problematic because if you look at the 1939, they also heavily imply that all Winkies are green. Because look at all of her henchmen.
Oh yeah. That's very true. But so like, I don't know, man. Like it seemed like, hey, I have to create all of these connections that are conveniently connected for the sake of drama. That's why I think the story is not the greatest.
Yeah.
So like, just, oh, you vilified Elphaba. Haha, guess what? She's your daughter. You know what I mean? Drama. Yeah. And like, oh, nope. Tin Man hates Elphaba because her sister went crazy and she was in love with him and she read out of the book and Elphaba saves him and he's Tin Man now. Oh, I hate her because look at what I am. And then freaking Scarecrow was Scarecrow because, oh, I don't want Fiero to die. I don't know what I'm saying. Which that song, No Good Deed, is a good song. I love that song. But so freaking convenient. And then all of a sudden, the key thing that is like a consistent in all adaptations of Wizard of Oz. It's like, oh nope, that's not a thing anymore. No, water doesn't do anything to me. Um, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep. But that's not in the book.
the water's not.
Her not really. I mean, she's allergic to water. I mean it. So she
Because
dies in the
Dorothy
book.
does throw water on her in the book, and that's
No,
how she
yes,
dies,
but I
right?
mean in Wicked, she's allergic to the water. She dies in the book. That's why they have a whole second book called "Son of a Witch."
Right. That's what I say across all the
Yeah,
adaptations
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
Wizard of
yeah, yeah.
Oz, like except
I,
for Wicked,
yeah,
like
I'm just
the
clarifying like
stage production. Yeah,
the stage
yeah.
production and movie. Yeah,
Um, now I'm more critical of Wicked than most people I know. Like, and I think that just comes with me coming to it so late. I might not have felt as strongly about it if I had seen it in college or something like that. Um,
Yeah, because
because I
I
wouldn't.
saw it on Broadway like early on, like I think it was 2009, I think is when I
Yeah,
mm,
saw it.
Doe
And
saw it
it
in
was
like 2010
fantastic.
or 2011 or something like that. Um, and she loves it too. But
and my
Well,
so
first
I
time.
fell in love with it in high school. I mean, we sang a lot of the songs from Wicked in
mhm.
chorus. Like, so it was, I mean, it was just always
And you took
get me
me in
eyes reminds
like
me of that.
before we were married.
I
Yeah,
remember
I
you
introduced
guys
you to
you
it.
had that you had the like the book with every, like they had a bunch of the
Hmm.
stuff in it. I think you guys bought it in the gift shop or something like that.
And
Or
we've been married since 2010, so it was before that whenever
Yeah.
we went and saw it.
but
Yeah, I think we
Um,
saw it in like 2000, later in 2009, maybe something like that. I'm not sure.
yeah, because when you lived in that apartment that you shared with Sharkface and Mousy.
Yeah.
um I
Just
think
laugh.
yeah, I think I'm always going to end up having an issue whenever there's like severe deviation from the source material of something. Like it's always going to be I'm not going to allow it to necessarily ruin something for me. Um but it is like negative marks against it going into something. Um so and you kind of pay attention to the fact that people are like, oh yeah, Glinda was the villain all along. I mean, see, there was a train, and you kind of there ends up being all this like convoluted like stuff that people think actually was in the original story. They could have just taken the train to the wizard or whatever. And it's just kind of like, no, there was no train. Um, and I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't even know how much I would actually enjoy the original book of Wizard of Oz. I might enjoy it, but
Yeah, you'd have to enjoy
still,
it for what it is.
yeah, especially for the time that it was written. And what it came out of. It just came out of like bedtime stories, right?
Yeah, essentially.
And
He
the
was telling.
musical, I think, is the same. It's not meant to be taken too seriously, and it's not meant to be canon. It's not meant to be like super connected. It's literally, I think they just made it for fun and for
Yeah.
entertainment value.
I mean, it's fan fiction. Like,
Right.
it's fan fiction of fan fiction.
Exactly.
Which
So it's not
there's
supposed
nothing wrong with that. I think the problem I end up having with it is that it essentially has become more popular than the original. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
in
maybe.
Wizard of Oz.
Yes, I think Wicked is now more popular than the Wizard of Oz. Um, and maybe
I
that is
mean, I
a
think
period
that's
of
just
time that
because
we're
of the
in.
time we're living in, but I don't think
Yeah.
Um,
it will stand the test of time like
I don't
Wizard of
either.
Oz.
I don't know though, because like the movies did really, really well, and it has been an extremely popular stage production for 2 decades. I mean, it's still on Broadway, right? Or did it? Maybe it just came down or something like that.
Uh,
Um, and
Actually, so I looked it up when you were talking about the Oscars. It actually, for good, got completely shut out of the Oscars this
yeah,
year.
I saw that.
Not
But
one
the first Wicked won an Oscar, right?
they had 10 nominations, and I can't remember how they said they won. They won a good many
Um,
awards.
I kind of feel like it may have a staple place in history because of how successful it was as a musical in this era in comparison to other movies, like live action musical movies. Because we're kind of in this era where people they're not getting a whole lot right with live action musicals. Like you have a few and people like them, but I don't think they've had the impact. Like I love the movie The Greatest Showman. I think it is a fantastic movie, and there has been some like resurgence of that with kind of viral stuff from the show that people were using on TikTok and doing the dances and that kind of stuff. But it didn't really like do the greatest. Like even though a lot of people liked it, I don't think it like was considered like a crazy box office success. I think it was just kind of like a mediocre success.
Pretty well.
Check behind me. Or maybe it wasn't a critical success. But and there were some issues with it, like CGI wise, like the elephants at the end kind of look bad or that kind of stuff. But I thought the music is incredible.
It was a massive box office success, grossing over $471 million worldwide.
Really?
The highest grossing live action musical film ever.
That's for good.
Ever still?
The Greatest Showman.
Still
is one of the highest grossing live action.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Largely driven by strong world.
What was like the Rotten Tomatoes score?
The Greatest Show.
Because I like maybe it was something at the time because like I had
6% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That must be what I'm talking about then. Yeah. Like because I wanted to say like it didn't seem like it did very well in some area, but maybe critics can be weird, and but so it didn't win any awards essentially.
It was nominated. I saw where it had nominations. I don't know about what it won.
But even that's the only other one that I can really name that did like that had any sort of really big impact.
Of movie musicals?
Recently, like the last 10 years.
Recent movie musicals, yeah.
Like live action musicals not really been a big thing in our lifetime. Like they generally came from older like an older era, like old school movies, like The Wizard of Oz or White Christmas, or
and see, I don't even think of those as musicals. I think of those as movies that have music in them.
Right.
Because when I think of movie musicals, I think of like
they further the
West Side Story, The Sound of Music. The King and I, classics like that. But
again, all those like from like what, the 60s?
Right.
And
that was
so time. Which I haven't even seen the new West Side Story.
I haven't either.
And I guess the fact
it's one of my favorites.
That Snow Farquaad is the main character in it.
It's Brown Fart Wad.
Brown Fart What? What's her freaking last name? Rachel Zegler. But
now we've had some decent musical movies in our lifetime come out. They might not have done as big as some of these other ones, but we've had Chicago. We've had Chicago.
Yeah.
We've had Sweeney Todd.
That's true. Sweeney Todd was one.
So we've had some that have come out. They just maybe not to this degree.
I still feel like they just didn't. You were a huge fan of Chicago.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones to come out in our lifetime.
But was that like equally shared by a lot of people? Because I didn't really like experience a whole lot of Chicago outside of you.
You didn't see fandom the same way that things are now. Things weren't as widely spread then. We're talking the early 2000s.
That's true.
And I grew,
which could be a reason why Wicked could have a lot more retention.
Not to mention that they also put out stuff like that little song that they made up for Pink Green, that the two of them did, and And our daughter Bunny walked around singing that for months. I'm a witch and I'm a witch. Which is which? Where here's the sitch.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard this. I need to look it up.
Oh boy.
Is it annoying?
I mean, it's
No,
it's
just a
catchy.
little
Catchy.
viral video.
Part of it's really part of it is not bad, and then it keeps going here and like this ended up sucking. But
Here's the thing. I think that the stage production of Wicked, the stage musical, will become a classic the same way like Phantom did and Cats and all of
Sure.
those. I
Yeah.
I
don't
think it's
think
already in that status, really.
right, it is, but I don't think the movies will do that in movie world because there's two different worlds. And movie world, Wizard of Oz is always going to be the classic because it's one of the first Technicolor movies, and it was just like huge.
it was
for
a
its
first for a
time.
lot of things.
Right?
Yeah.
And
And
so I don't
maybe
think
you're right. Like it just feels different this time as far as like how how people responded to it. Cause like so I mean Dear Evan Hansen, which is a huge success on Broadway. I mean they did the movie that movie came out what 4 years ago, maybe
Yeah.
maybe not quite that long. I think it was 4 years ago. And I don't think it did well at all. Like
No, and I really like that musical.
yeah,
I
that's
love
like
the
my
music.
favorite. That's like my favorite
Yeah.
musical. And I don't think it did super well. And
I never saw the movie.
people were very critical of Les Mis. Um I don't know what the overall like success of Les Mis was, but I know people were not happy with Russell Crowe. Um
Yeah, he can't sing. That's
no,
all.
it was pretty bad. Um and
And
what
Anne Hathaway did not. I don't feel like did great.
I think people praise Anne Hathaway. I don't know why.
Just because she cut her hair.
Well, I think because
And
she
ate
does
rice
what she
cakes.
does. She does what she does, and she overacted. And just warning, I'm not a big Anne Hathaway fan. Um, uh, hang on, but so it was a commercial success. And it apparently was award winning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't so,
But
but
still,
I
it
remember
won't surpass
people.
its stage value. Les Mis.
Yeah, like I just remember people dogging on it though. So like maybe
the
this
movie?
was yeah.
Well, it was one of the first ones where they did the live singing.
Yeah. And I just remember during the I Dreamed a Dream sequence, I couldn't focus because all I could focus on was the drop of snot coming out of Anne Hathaway's nose. But so yeah, like but even still, like even all that, like we're counting, I mean, we're able to count all these on two hands. Movies like within the last 20 years that are musicals, and I just don't think any of them came close to Wicked. And like,
What our generation did better was making the movies that then went to the stage and became decent musicals, like all of the Disney movies that then went
yeah,
on.
which I'm like, which I'm not like, oh, that's awful, but I'm also like, why can't Broadway be a little bit more original? Okay, Legally Blonde the musical, okay, freaking Mean Girls the musical, okay, and they're about to do some other chick flick to stage production musical. I can't remember what it is. I know that they did Back to the Future, freaking several Disney movies. How to Train Your Dragons on Broadway, or was on Broadway. Just like, man, like there's got to be an existing property. But yeah, I don't know. So like, I guess we'll see. Like, like there's just a huge fandom around Wicked, and I think a lot of that fandom doesn't have the same like place in their heart for the Wizard of Oz movie. You know what I'm saying?
Wizard of Oz is
don't
still
know.
huge.
Yeah.
I mean,
would
it
disagree.
is. Like, I'm not saying they don't like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they don't like it.
I
I'm
just
saying
think it's popular right
classic.
now and among this generation, but
a classic doesn't necessarily
it's
mean.
forgettable.
You think Wicked is forgettable?
I think the movies are forgettable.
I mean, I think the movies are better than the stage production, personally.
I don't think so because of that, mainly because of the acting and the singing. I don't think it is on par with a lot of what you would see if you went and saw it on Broadway.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I think that the original cast of Wicked is definitely better than the cast in the movie.
Every cast on Broadway is better than the cast
Well,
of the movie. I mean,
I don't-
save maybe Cynthia and Ariana. All of the rest of them are
like,
not.
and I think that's fine. But like,
Yeah, Madame Marble sucked.
Yeah, and what's his
that
name?
was pretty bad.
He's not a singer either.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Jeff Goldblum?
Yes.
Yes. He
Um,
was
Not
not
a
great.
singer.
But I think the overall production of the movie was better than the production of the stage version.
I think if you
That's
saw it in
kinda
New
hard to
York, you would feel differently. If you saw the original set and the original,
Are they not the same
theater,
sets whenever you see them on tour?
No, it's different. It's different. You don't get the full effect when it's a traveling production as you do when you see it.
It's also not completely fair to compare what's on stage to what you can do on a film.
I think that's why I like it better, because I do
Sure.
absolutely
fair.
value the film media more than I value stage media. And it's not to say that, oh, like, I'm not Timothy Chalamet in it and saying that stage is dying and I don't care about stage or whatever. But like,
Without
So,
stage,
like-
you'd never have movies.
that's
But-
true. But like, I think that's why movies are so freaking great. You're able to capture something in a much more like bring to life kind of way. So there are times I think movies do better than the original medium. Like, it's funny bringing up Timothy Chalamet. Like, I read the original Dune book and I was not like the biggest fan, which I know is kind of a huge hot take for a lot of fantasy sci-fi readers. But I just got super bored with it. But the movies are absolutely incredible. Visually, now acting was definitely on par too, but like we're talking like you are immersed in this world, and I think that's why I like the movies better. I will agree with you. The acting and all the actors are better in the stage production, but the fact that you're able to see things from different perspectives, I think the fact that when you're seeing a stage production, you're essentially just looking at a wide shot the whole time. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, that's what it is. Like, if you were just to record a movie and just film a wide shot, that would suck and everybody would hate it.
Well, so in reality, what you're saying is that you're saying you're trying to bring it more to life. You're actually taking it away from life because we view all of life through a wide shot. We're not able to get up and get close-ups of everything that we see. So when you're watching a stage production, which is more like you actually experiencing something because you are truly experiencing it in real life.
I mean, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and I can see what you're saying. And like,
which is why stage actors are better, is because they have to play to everyone in the audience, and they don't get retakes. Whereas in film, they can retake it as many times as they want till it's good, but they can also show you what they want to show you, and not draw your eye for everybody in the room, because I have to catch your attention because my character has to do this thing. They're just going to show it to you, which takes the magic a little bit out of it. But also,
I don't know, because I have to suspend my
magic.
for stage production. I have to suspend my disbelief significantly more than I do in movies. And like, yeah,
because they're on a stage.
No, I think
Yes.
I think for you, probably it comes down to the fact that at heart, you really love film. And that's
I mean, that
fine.
could be it.
Fine.
But I think that film is better at telling a story that leads you in the direction that it wants you to go in. Like with stage,
I find that funny since still today we have Shakespeare's works and we still perform Shakespeare, but there's there are classic films, but there's a far less that have lasted that same kind of a test of time as a lot of the stage plays.
Well, they've not been around as long.
Yeah.
Also,
there's not been as many.
Film is significantly more successful than stage production is, and
I think
it
that's
makes a lot
debatable.
more. Well, it makes a lot more money.
It
And
makes
of
more
the
money
time we
because
live
more
in.
people are able to go to the movie than they are to go to the theater.
And it doesn't
But
take the same. It doesn't
That's
take
true.
people. It doesn't take people having to recreate it every time. You just play it again.
so, do you
Right.
you think most people would say, "Yeah, I'd rather see stage productions," or you think they'd say, "I'd rather see film"?
I think most people aren't exposed to stage productions, so they
Anymore.
don't have an appreciation.
Okay, the people
for it.
who have been exposed to it.
There's a
I think
lot
they
of.
have an appreciation for it, and they like to go see.
I'm
the
not
stage.
saying I'm not saying there's no appreciation. I have an appreciation for stage.
There's also a reason why you have stage
They're
actors
two
that do
completely different mediums, so I don't feel
better.
like you can put them in the same pot.
They are two completely different mediums. I agree.
I have a
However-
degree in musical theater. I love musicals, but I
Sure.
also love movies, and I've loved movies my whole life. I'm a movie buff. So I can appreciate both of them. I can appreciate theater for the fact that it is much harder to do as an actor,
As an actor, yeah, I agree
than
with that.
movies are. And
'Cause
also,
you have to
even
remember
from a
everything.
technical perspective, when you go and you see, for example, Wicked in theater, and you're looking there at all the things they are able to do on stage, that's not
true.
computers or anything else. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
practical
Though
effects.
I do think I think we don't need
takes
to
a whole
downplay
team.
the complexity of making something look real with computer effects, because that is
Sure.
an art form. And like
is.
so like I think that's something a lot of people end up really kind of crapping on a lot of times. Like, oh, this was practical, this was CG or whatever. It's like, I'll say this too. Like, let me back up a little bit. Like, there equally, if not more, to produce a film as a stage production. Probably more, because there's significantly more people that work on film productions, and there's a lot more moving pieces to produce a film production. I'm not trying to downplay stage productions.
Well, that's not
because-
completely true, because you have to have just as much, a lot of the same stuff, but it has to run perfectly in time as well.
That's the only thing that I think is a leg up, that it is a live production. So like versus a month's long production process for film. Well, really like years long if you're including pre-production. And like but then again, you can also add that to
piggyback
stage
off of
production.
Jill and say the same things that she said. And you know this, I have a theater degree,
correct?
but I wanted to be a movie actor. So
Sure.
I love movies. I love TV. That's what I wanted to be. That's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a love for both, but
Like me,
I don't think that it's
because
easy.
I also do.
Yeah, but I wouldn't so flippantly say that movies are better, or I have to spend this.
Am I alienating all theater people by saying I think that film is better? Because like that's just
No,
my.
I think that's your
and I'm
I think,
explaining
I
why.
think that's your preference.
That's absolutely what it is. And like, so like, and I'm saying I do think this, and I don't think anything that you guys have said have made me think, oh yeah, that does like negate what I said, because like, I do think when you're directing the story, like with intentionality in your storyboarding and your shots and all that stuff, that is a better way to tell the story, as opposed to just watch everything that's going on all at one time. And then if you go see it again, you might see this side of the stage or that side of the stage or whatever. Books are very similar, and I would say that I prefer book storytelling over stage storytelling. Also, that's not to say that I don't like stage storytelling, because it is great, and I find it unbelievably rewarding. But So
But
like,
essentially, it's comparing apples to oranges, and that's why I don't say one is better than the other.
I didn't say one
I
was better than the other. I said I prefer one to the other.
Well, the way you said it sounded like you were saying it was better.
Well, let's
Like,
go on record and say I didn't say that because
Okay.
I
That's how I
didn't
took it
say
too.
that.
But I did take it as more of a preference thing.
We
than a
led into this by me
dogmatic
saying
thing.
I preferred the Wicked
because
movie.
it's your opinion. Because it's your opinion.
Yeah.
But the Wicked movie has a lot of its own issues.
Yeah, like a lot of those songs they added are garbage.
They're not as good. Uh,
The Girl in the Bubble is a terrible song. The other, like the animal leaving song, is a terrible song. Those are the
Why
only
did
two
they
they
need
added,
that?
right? But like I don't think I think being able to see the world of Oz in the digital creation they made of it is better than the single shot with moving set pieces than the stage production. Does that make
you're
sense?
not supposed to see the whole play. I mean, it's not really trying to give you all of.
They're just very different, but I do think it's a
Right.
beautiful film.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Like
I think all of it is really pretty. The
I
sets and
appreciate being able to
costumes.
see all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
rather than like suspending my disbelief being in the same space the whole time. And so like and that's just a me preferring film over stage thing. But like there are things like I watched Dear Evan Hansen the movie. It is not as good as the Dear Evan Hansen stage production, which is phenomenal. And it is a very like it's almost like a black box space in a lot of ways. Cause all like have you guys have you either of you seen the stage production of Dear Evan Hansen or like
No.
I've seen clips from it, but I've
so,
listened
like,
to the music.
there's a lot of like scrims all over the place and they do like projection on these scrims and it is really cool. And it's super artsy, very like you don't really get the feeling of a set. Like you get the feeling like you're in a location in Wicked, like in the stage production of Wicked, or at least the tour stage production of Wicked. I don't know how different it is on Broadway. But so like,
I'll also say they bring in on the stage production. They do bring in a few more of the elements of the book that they did not do in the film adaptation.
like what?
Well, I've already mentioned one with the goggles. And,
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
And they have, I can't remember the names of them, but in the book, there's these little creatures and their heads spring up and they come in and they dance in one of the songs on the stage production. And I can't remember, I can't remember which one it is. It might be once they go, it might be One Short Day or something like that.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what
You
you're
know what I'm
talking about.
And their head,
Yeah, I think that is One Short Day.
I think it is.
And they were in the movie too, I think.
Were they?
I think they were.
They might have been.
Yeah.
But in the book, that it's like a whole land that they go to. So it's a few things. However, in the movie, they have a train,
Mm-hmm.
which is where then people have a whole issue with. Oh, there was a train the whole time, and Dorothy. But that's not in the musical.
Yeah.
It's not, and it's never in any other version. And I know you kind of hinted to that earlier. So they kind of created other problems.
Right.
But the story itself, just getting back to like even just the story itself, has its issues. And I'm gonna run through some of these because to bounce back. The Scarecrow is not Figaro in the book.
Scarecrow is just a scarecrow, right?
He's just a scarecrow.
Wasn't a person before, correct?
Correct. So in the book, in the earlier books, he talks about remembering each sense as the farmer like paints on his eyes. He could see. Now that is contradictory to some of the stuff that Plumley, you remember Tatty Poo, what she wrote, when she wrote that his stalk that he was on it's a stupid story, but essentially there was like these wizards, and how racist is this kind of that this race of people underground were like the ancestors to Chinese people, but the king of them got this wizard to put a spell on this staff, and the first thing that touched it came alive, and the first thing that touched it was the scarecrow. However, that doesn't go with what L. Frank Baum wrote. He wrote that because the land was magical, the farmer put them together, he became aware of each sense. That does not go along with Fierro either. Bach in the book is not the Tin Man. He's a different character completely. Bach is a Munchkin. He's a wealthy Munchkin who kind of holds a feast for Dorothy when she's in Munchkin country. However, before he was the Tin Man was named Nick Chopper, and he was a woodman who was cursed by the Wicked Witch of the East.
Yeah. Is the Wicked Witch of the East the Wicked Witch of the West sister in the book?
No, they're not. Yeah, I said that earlier. There's no mention of any of them being sisters. That's not
okay.
a
Yeah.
thing.
Okay. Yeah. You said that. Okay. Yeah.
The Wicked Witch of the East, the Wicked Witch of the East curses him because he's in love with her Munchkin servant girl, and she, for some reason, for that she cursed him and cursed his axe to cut off all of his limbs, and the tinsmith replaces each one of his limbs and everything with tin, and he forgets to give him a heart. So they completely made up crap. They combined two characters and made them one character, and then messed up his whole backstory, which is, I'm sorry, it's a cooler backstory. That your axe is cursed to chop your limbs off, and you have to, and then like you're trying to replace
darker backstory for
I mean,
sure.
but he's the same guy that kills wolves with his axe in the children's story. But it's so much cooler than, you don't love me. I'm gonna read this book. I don't know what it means, and then oh no, his heart's shrinking, and then oh no, she has to try to fix him, and then oh no, he's a.
Are you sure you like it?
I like it as its own thing. I have to separate them as different, almost as different stories.
I have a very hard time doing that, and like just because it is all like derived from the same thing, and I think I have a hard time with that with other things.
I think this is the issue with the movie, is that before, when it was just the play, everybody knew this was not the same thing. But once the movie came out, everybody thought this was one universe.
And I think that's what I was trying to say that earlier, like why I worry about it being cemented in history. Like
you think it'll be tied to the Wizard of Oz,
or like overshadowing the Wizard of Oz because of all these things, and like feeling like this is all canon because people don't understand that it's fan fiction, and and there's nothing wrong with fan fiction. Fan fiction's fine.
Fan fiction's fine, but it doesn't need to become.
It's not.
Real,
it's not canon.
It should just stay in fan fiction lane.
Yeah. I mean, it's not often that fan fiction makes it into mainstream. Like, usually if fan fiction makes it into mainstream, it's like 50 Shades of Grey, which is apparently fan fiction of Twilight. I thought that was weird.
No, she used to write fan fiction of Twilight, and then she wrote her own book.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes more sense, because I remember somebody saying, it's fan fiction of Twilight. I'm like, how is it fan fiction of Twilight?
No, the author used to write Twilight fan fiction.
That makes more sense.
She wrote her own stuff.
That makes so much more sense. Because I've never been able to reconcile that in my brain. Like, is it? I don't know. Like, he's a crazy sadist S&M bondage non-vampire guy version of Edward Cullen. I was like, maybe that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, I can't really think of any other properties that are fan fiction that really made it into. I guess technically, Once Upon a Time is kind of like fan fiction.
Yeah, I could see that. But it's also made by Disney.
Right.
Yeah. It's Once Upon a Time is one of the few things that they're like, hey, we're gonna like really do a thing with these properties that is not what these properties were that I actually enjoyed. Um, like I know you always said, like we talked about this in bad adaptations, but like the Peter Pan twist didn't really bother me because I was like, I know this isn't
No,
real.
it,
And
no, it
like
doesn't bother me, and it doesn't bother me there. But that theory that people try to say that that's the
yeah,
real, that bothers me.
yeah.
Just
And
like
people have a tendency to do that crap.
just like with Glinda, everybody's like she's really the villain.
Yeah.
No, because she didn't tell them about a train
Yeah.
or whatever thing.
No,
No,
there's no
it's
train.
there's no
No
train.
train. But I mean, and people have, I know like that's a common thing in like the way people respond to things now. Like I remember whenever that actually, that thing sparked Cobra Kai happening. Um, like looking back on the Karate Kid, people were like, no, Daniel's really the villain. And this was a theory people like went with, and that kind of ended up sparking the whole like Cobra Kai series, which focused a lot more on Johnny than it did on Daniel LaRusso at first. So I find it interesting that we're in this era where it's like, no, the good guy was really the villain.
Yeah.
And
And maybe
they did
that
that
comes
with,
from some of the other stuff where they've tried to make the villains the good guys, which we kind of talked about in bad adaptations.
yeah. I was gonna say like Maleficent.
Yeah.
Um, and
Cruella.
yeah. So maybe it's just because we're running out of stories to tell. What
Yeah.
if the? I mean, it's a
Well,
really. Go ahead.
you go ahead and I'll jump in.
It's a really prominent thing in like a lot of like romance fiction, where it's like we want to portray the good guy as a bad guy at first. Like all the first book, this guy is a real bad guy, but in reality, he's really a great guy with a really long. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say that there's a whole lot of people who now, and I think a lot because of this mindset that the bad guys are really the good guys and the good guys are really the bad guys, that want to say that Satan was really the good guy. He was just trying to tell us.
I have heard that before.
And that God was wanting to keep them down and keep them oppressed. Yeah, and He was trying to free us and free us right on into hell.
Yeah,
which is a prison essentially. I mean, like the worst.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, what else we got about Wicked and Wizard of Oz?
I mean, I think we've covered most of the stuff. We've talked about the characters. We've talked about the flying monkeys. We've talked about the history of it and how it kind of like changed. There's also all these other different versions of Wizard of Oz. And I think maybe to Jill's credit, that might be why she's saying that Wicked will not have the same as Wizard of Oz, is because there's a lot of different versions of the Wizard of Oz that have not, any of them have not made the impact that the first film has.
No, don't get me wrong, Jill. Like, I hope you're right. Like, I would much rather the Wizard of Oz movie have a greater impact on history than Wicked. Like,
I think we're already seeing the downfall of Wicked a little bit. It's becoming less talked about and becoming less of a thing.
I mean, and you may be right about that. I think that's a kind of a common tale with movies right now.
I think they shouldn't have made them into two. I think they should have figured out how to make them be one, because I think they lost momentum doing that.
Yeah, but it's Hollywood.
And they're trying to make more money.
They try to make more money. And they should have just made it a longer movie rather than...
The first one was better than the second.
And they could have cut out the crappy songs that they added.
100%. To both of those statements. And yeah, I do...
Why did they make her nursemaid a bear? She's not in the books. And she's not in the...
Is she even in the musical?
she's not in the musical, and she's mentioned in the books, but she's a human, I think.
They were trying to play up the animal thing a little too much.
Yeah, the whole "I love animals. I'm
Like they
animal
made
rights."
that the whole like crux, and
Oh,
I
Queen
don't.
PETA over here.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a really big part of the
yeah, and
of
it is a
original.
big part of the musical, but I think there was also more to it than that too.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what started the whole thing because like the musical does like he is trying to like create the villain. That all is the same. Like, oh well,
Right.
we need a common enemy, and that's talking animals or whatever. Um, but I don't know. I thought that was kind of a weird point of the story, also. Like, oh yeah, for some reason, talking animals, like we hate them. But or the
I don't.
need to create a villain whenever you're already ruling all of Oz.
Yeah.
Um,
I I don't. I mean, him being her father in that version does not bother me. It doesn't align anything with what could have happened in the real books, the Wizard of Oz books. It does happen in, I think it does happen in Wicked the book, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West.
mm,
Um, that doesn't really bother me. It is kind of stupid that he drinks a pink, green vial,
green
and that's what
elixir, yeah.
turns everything.
Do you have a question?
Yeah.
This was a hotly contested topic about the For Good movie. Um, what did you guys think of the way that Fiero looks as a scarecrow?
Oh my Lord. Um, it. I did not think it looked good. I remember seeing the still before I ever saw the movie. Um, he does kind of look more like Ryan Reynolds than the actor that played him.
I can see that.
But I think they were trying too hard to make him handsome.
I mean, maybe that's true. It didn't bother me that much just because I think it looks better than that traditional way of doing the scarecrow makeup, just putting a burlap sack over somebody's face and then painting their skin. Um,
Well, the
but
way that it
like,
was done in the original has not been matched because his skin looks like burlap, like the whatever they put on, and they didn't have
Mhm.
the
I don't
stuff that
know. It
we
looks
have
like
now.
face paint to me.
Well, it ain't.
In the original,
Yeah, it's not just face paint. They literally, his skin is textured.
hang on.
Maybe not to the degree of what they did in Wicked.
Um, he does have
Mm.
some stuff on his face.
And
Yeah,
and the
okay.
and even the way that it kind of folds in a little bit on itself looks more like fabric.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. There is some face paint over top of it. I
Well,
think to make it look like he's got smile lines or whatever.
his face was literally supposed to be painted on. That's part of the actual story.
Fair.
Mhm.
Um, I think maybe the reason I thought it was just face paint is because the resolution is so bad, and I've just not ever seen a really high res image of it. Because again, I didn't like grow up really watching it.
Mm.
Um, so like I don't know. It didn't really. I think for me, I think the reason a lot of people didn't like it was because he didn't look like Jonathan Bailey, and all the girlies were like, "Oh no, it's not Jonathan Bailey." You know what I mean?
I didn't think he or the Tin Man looked great.
I think the Tin Man looked too realistic. You know what I mean? Like in that one scene where they're making him like crazy, like he's scary in that one scene.
When he's coming,
Yeah, I was gonna say it's almost like a
No,
horror
whenever
film.
and his teeth
he's
are
talking,
even silver.
yeah, he's talking about hunting down the witch or whatever.
Yeah,
Which I know that was intentional, but yeah, like
and she just threw her sister under the bus. She deserved to have that house fall on her.
mm-hmm.
She was one of my least favorite. I really did not like the actress that played Nessa Rose, and I didn't like the actress that played Madame Marble. I just didn't think they really
I think
were.
Madame Marble was not good. The
I
girl
mean,
that played
she was
Nessa
worse
didn't
than
bother
Nessa
me.
Rose, but I didn't. I thought she could sing. Nessa Rose could sing, but I didn't think she was a
Yeah.
great actress.
I didn't. I didn't really care for Jeff Goldblum.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, he wasn't great either.
I think, as much as I think Cynthia Erivo is weird in real life, I think she did a really good job as Elphaba. I think I didn't have any issue with like the modulations of the songs. I thought that it all sounded really freaking good.
Mhm.
My
It
my
did.
issue with her is if you're gonna try to base your whole story and movie and image off of the original 1939 movie,
Should have given her a prosthetic nose.
you should have given her, because
Yeah,
even and Chen, because even though Margaret Hamilton already kind of had those features,
prominent features. Yeah.
she had prosthesis on to enhance them.
I mean, and I can agree. I agree with you also, though I will say, while Idina Menzel did kind of have those prominent features, Broadway didn't stick to that as a
But that's also because you're not up close.
fair.
And
That's fair.
and because you are up close, as we've talked about already, I think they needed to and the details are going to be pulled out. Just like with the clothing, they have more details on them. They have different kinds of details on stage because they have to catch the light and all this other kind of stuff. It's different. But when you're doing something up close, it needs to sell a little differently.
And I agree with you in comparison to the original story. I think that is problematic. Though I will go to the defense for I guess, for something here. Like, if you were to do that, whether it be the stage production or the movie production or the film production, it's a lot harder to romancify a character like that, I think. While
She's
it
not
shouldn't
supposed to be
be.
pretty though. She wasn't supposed to be a pretty character. Even in the I
But
get it.
she's only supposed to be green in the stage production. They don't talk about her being ugly. They just talk about her being green.
Well, yeah, they don't say she's ugly. I wonder if I can't remember if the book if it talks about all that. I do know one thing that I'm gonna jump over to this because I just remembered that Jill was saying this the other day that they could not do. I guess they could have done it, but because they actually cast an actress to play Nessa Rose who is paraplegic
Mm-hmm.
in the play, she walks
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
she didn't float, and nothing else happens. She literally can walk after that. But of course, the character also isn't just paraplegic. She doesn't have arms in the movie.
book.
I mean, the book. Excuse me, in the book.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
She's born. So they're both born with these malfunctions. One's green and one doesn't have arms and her legs are of no use.
Does she end up getting legs and arms in the book?
She doesn't get arms. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
But the
I
shoes
do
help
think
her walk. That's why they're magical.
Yeah.
So they just erased that for this movie.
And I'd have to say that felt important to me to erase that because the ruby slippers, that's like a whole
I agree with that.
central.
I
It
think
gave
that
purpose
was
to the slippers.
yeah. That was a time whenever Hollywood is trying to, I don't want to say pander, but I guess pander to a demographic of people.
Yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to like erase those people or anything like that, but like,
No, but I'm sure they would love to be able to walk if they can't.
yeah,
No,
yeah. But or they could have, even if they wanted to use, because she's, like you said, she's paraplegic in real life. Like they could have CG'd it.
That's what I was
they made her
thinking.
fly. Surely
Yeah.
they could have put her on the daggum things and let her.
Yeah. And because she wasn't going to be in it that much longer after that.
Right. It's not that many scenes. It's not like she spends every scene of the movie walking around.
I agree with that.
Which then doesn't make sense because she's rolling around out there, and when the house falls on her, in none of the versions was there ever a wheelchair nearby.
It's just totally under the house.
I mean, I guess that's what they were trying to say happened, but her legs are still sticking out.
Yeah. Um, but man, I think it's funny because like I'm the one that likes Wicked the least, but you have so many criticisms about it.
Because I can accept
Yeah.
them, and I love theater anyway. I love a good theatrical play.
Yeah.
So, and I love a musical, and I can look at them as different things. Story wise, it's got its own issues, but the book has its own issues, and the movie has its own issues, and but I have to separate them and be like, yeah, this is fan fiction. This is his own ideas of based off of what he watched as a child from the movie.
Yeah.
And he's trying to claim that it's from the book, but I'm not sure that he actually read them. I don't know.
Right. Right.
Mm.
All right. Well, I think we've reached the end of this rabbit hole, unless we got
Well,
some more digging
not
to
that
do.
it actually is in anything. I just want to let y'all know that the Wizard of Oz's actual name is Oscar Zoroaster Friedrich Isaac Norman Hinkle Emmanuel Ambrose Diggs.
Is that his name in Oz the Great and Powerful?
Mm.
James Franco?
His name is Oscar. Oscar
Okay.
I
Diggs.
think Diggs seems familiar too.
I think his name is Oscar Diggs. Honestly, even though that one's not great, it probably could have been a more
It made more sense
make more sense, yeah,
Mhm.
than
than the
Wicked
other.
did. It might not be it might not be like the most incredible movie in the world, but it at least made more sense. Like we at least got there somehow.
But Oscar, his his initial spelled Oz Pinhead, but which Oz Pinhead is the joke, but so his name was literally Oz, which is the name of the land, or OZ. Anyway,
Yeah.
Oscar Zoroaster, blah 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 blah.
blah, 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 blah.
Blah,
All
blah,
them
blah,
names.
blah.
Anyway, just thought that I'd throw that in as
Thank you.
a fun little hoodly do.
We
And
appreciate
in the
that.
second book, your main character, or the one that everybody thinks of as your main character, is not even there.
All right.
Because it's a boy, we follow a boy, and but he becomes a girl. It's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful time going back to your burrow.
At least you said it differently this time. Well, I'm leaving to go to my burrow, so
Oh, well, I just want to know. I just want you to know that because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
Beautiful.
yeah. If I was watching the stage production, I'd have been glad to be able to put my attention elsewhere during.
But you weren't.
Nope. I had to watch it in the film kind of way.
Yep, right here. Up close.
Right here. Goodbye.
Down and down the rabbit hole.